Pick up your phone right now. You probably already have. You have picked it up somewhere between 80 and 150 times today. You did not count. You were not aware of most of them. And while you were looking at the screen, something else was happening entirely. Something quiet. Something constant. Something that has been running since the first moment you turned that device on and has not stopped since. Your phone is watching you back. Not in the way that makes for good science fiction. Not a camera secretly activating in a dark room. The reality is more mundane than that, and far more total. Because the thing tracking you is not a single system. It is dozens of them, running simultaneously, each collecting a different slice of your life, each feeding that data into a machine that knows more about your daily patterns than most of the people you call friends. So what is actually being collected, and who is actually getting it? The answer starts with something you gave permission for without reading a single word. Every app on your phone asked you a question when you installed it. You tapped agree. You moved on. What you agreed to, in most cases, was a legal document that gave that app access to information you would never hand to a stranger on the street. Your location, your contacts, your microphone, your camera roll, the accelerometer data that tracks every movement your body makes while holding the device. Researchers at the International Computer Science Institute studied over 17,000 Android apps in 2019 and found that thousands of them were collecting data they had no functional reason to collect. Apps that had no need for your location were pulling it anyway. Apps that had no need for your contacts list were reading it in the background. The permission you gave was real. The use of that permission was, in many cases, invisible to you. But location data is where the picture becomes truly strange. Your phone does not track your location with a single system. It uses several at once. GPS satellites overhead, cell towers triangulating your signal, Wi-Fi networks you pass near, even ones you never connect to, Bluetooth devices in your environment. Each of these systems gives a slightly different reading. Combined, they produce a location estimate that is, in many urban environments, accurate to within a few meters. And that data is being logged, constantly. A 2018 investigation by the Associated Press found that Google was logging location data on Android phones even when users had explicitly turned off location history in their settings. The setting that was supposed to stop the tracking did not stop the tracking. It stopped one part of it. Other systems continued recording. The data went to Google's servers regardless. This is not unique to Google. It is the architecture of the modern smartphone ecosystem. Advertising technology companies, the ones whose software sits invisibly inside thousands of apps you use daily, have built a parallel infrastructure for this data. A company called MobileWallah was documented by researchers at Duke University as having collected location data on hundreds of millions of devices globally, including data precise enough to identify individual protest attendees, individual hospital visitors, and individual church congregants. Not by name, but by device ID, which is effectively the same thing when the device never leaves your pocket. Your phone has a unique identifier. That identifier follows your device wherever it goes. And wherever that identifier appears in a location log, your presence in that location is recorded. Think about what that means in a week of your life. Monday morning, you are at a specific coffee shop at a specific time. Tuesday, you visit a medical clinic. Wednesday, you attend a political meeting. Thursday, you are at a bar until late. Friday, you are at your child's school. None of this is secret. None of it required you to tell anyone. Your device told them automatically, and that information was packaged, sold, and is now sitting in a database somewhere, attached to a profile that has been built on you over months or years. Security researcher Zach Edwards has documented cases where this data was used to identify and track specific individuals across sensitive locations, not by governments, not by intelligence agencies, but by private data brokers operating entirely within the law. Within the law. That is the part that most people miss. The collection is not illegal. You agreed to it. The terms of service you did not read are a legally binding contract. The data broker ecosystem that buys and sells your location history, your app usage patterns, your browsing behavior, and your inferred psychological profile is a $40 billion industry operating in most jurisdictions with minimal regulatory oversight. And the profile they have built on you is more sophisticated than most people are willing to believe.